Strandberg fans, welcome to Uppsala. And Richard, Plini, Charlie, welcome to Uppsala.
Thank you.
Thank you.
First time being here in the motherland of these guitars. Yeah.
So what brings you here? You're playing a local festival called Prog the Park.
Prog in the Park. I think that's the name of it. Yeah, we always end up playing in Stockholm, which is like an hour away from here. I imagine it's the same for you. But yeah, we got billed together in a park in Uppsala. So that's how we're here.
Yeah, it's incredible. I wish we could take some credit for bringing you guys here, but it's entirely down to this amazing booking agent here in town, which is doing a pretty cool job. So excited to have you.
Yeah, that was.
And you're doing 2 gigs with Haken and Plini on. It's not exactly
we've
tour.
Never played together.
Yeah, but we're doing them in the 2 most obvious places, Uppsala and Milan.
Yeah.
Australian band and British band.
You're in the middle of a tour, aren't you?
Yeah.
So we're not. So we're going to go in cold, and it will be cold because it's raining. So it should be fun.
You're going to go in wet.
Yeah, we're going to go wet and cold, just the way I like it.
And then go out immediately.
Yeah. And then go to Milan, which is going to be very hot.
Yeah.
And dry.
Yeah. What's your worst horror story for playing an outside venue in the rain?
Sounds like yours was like a few days ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, at the start of this tour, we played in Milan, and it was actually fine for us. Like, literally, it was fine. And then as soon as we finished, it just started bucketing rain, and then the other bands had to cancel, which was miserable for them. But I think the worst weather horror story, we played in Barcelona. Did you ever do Prog?
Prog.
Yeah. Festival. We did that pretty early in the day.
Prog, my friend.
Yeah, Prog, my friend, in the park. And the sun totally cooked the laptop or something and like threw out the click and the track. Like everything was just got all melty. And just couldn't see.
We had the opposite thing in I think it's in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah.
The Gas Monkey, I'm sure you know it.
The outdoor one?
Yeah, it was outdoors, and it was, I mean, to my surprise, it can get really, really cold there. Yeah. And it was like minus something temperatures, and like our hands were like ice, like blocks of ice.
It was bad.
It was just, my fingers were so numb I couldn't even feel the strings, and it was brutal.
It was so cold that we had an analog keyboard, and the keyboard was going out of tune because it was so cold. I didn't even know that was a thing, but apparently it is. And then the next day, we were like, we're never going to do that again. And the next day, we were in Austin, and then they gave us the option that you could play indoors, but it looks like basically a murder scene or something. Or you could play outside. So we did it, and it was equally cold. So yeah.
Wow, that's rough.
Yeah, man. I could not believe it. I didn't think it got cold there ever, but it was like the coldest it's ever been. Yeah.
So nerdy Strandberg related question. Do you find that your Strandberg guitars perform like better or worse in the cold?
I don't know about you guys, but
or hot weather, any weather conditions.
and they kind of work perfectly in all weather conditions.
Yeah.
I found. I mean, tuning is always impeccable. So you.
Yeah, I've actually never thought about it. Like going into a cold venue or a hot venue, it's like just fine. It's always fine.
It doesn't cross my mind really, which I guess means that they're very stable. Yeah.
Do you guys have any like?
The only thing that goes wrong is like these things. You can, like,
I know these.
if you can fix that, then,
yeah, some robotics. That'll be the next
Ergonomic fingers.
Ergonomics.
Yeah. Can you do that?
Bionic fingers. But do you guys have favorite guitars that you like keep in the studio only and like never bring out on tour because the consequences would be too dire if they like broke or got lost?
I love the Salon guitar. You guys sent me one maybe like 8 years ago, whenever you brought it out. And I just use it all the time at home. Then recently kind of made my own version of it with like a similar Zero Coat finish to this. So I'm always using that in the studio. But Haken doesn't really demand a 6-string guitar, so I just leave it in the studio. One day, maybe next album, might write a 6-string guitar album. Who knows? But yeah, I love the sound of it. Really cool. It's got some Lundgren pickups as well. They're great company. In fact, these are Lundgren pickups as well. Lundgren M8s, and they sound incredible. And they're a great bunch of guys as well. So big shout out to them.
Yeah, for sure. And you're playing out of the box bone metal NX,
Well, it was
right?
out of the box, but I made some modifications.
You replaced the pickups.
Yeah, I went for the Lundgren M8s, the covered ones.
What's going on here?
Oh, that's awesome.
I
that a kill switch?
I never
just a
used the
dummy?
tone,
Yeah.
so I just made that the volume. And I like to see where it is, so I have got the numbered one.
Yeah.
And just to have something in the hole there, I put a kill switch. And
Is it? It's a functioning kill switch?
yeah.
What does it kill?
There you go. Silent.
Who dies?
Wow. Whoever you're looking
Do you
at.
ever use it? Did you do the
Sometimes.
Tom Morello
Yeah, just like
thing?
it's fun for just like the final chord of a song, just to kind of
Yeah.
like
My
go
guitar
crazy
broke.
on there. Yeah,
Ah, that's what it is.
Give the sound guy a heart attack.
Yeah, and I think I use this for spare picks.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool alternate use.
Take some notes there.
We should ship all guitars with a battery compartment.
Yeah, it's fun just to have something in there. Yeah, so I made some modifications and it's really cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
And Plini, you've had some iterations of your guitars.
I don't have
over the
anything that I
years.
leave at home. I just take whatever I like the most at the time on tour. This is pretty old. I think this is one of the first neck throughs that I got, like a prototype, and then I put Fishman pickups in it. So this changes voice 1 to 2. No, it doesn't. This changes voice 1 and 2, and this is voice 3. But it's still only got a 3-way. That's fun. Everything else about it is the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Except I have this, which I don't know that you even know that I have, which is this.
Ah, yeah.
Charging your phone.
Yeah. That's, so you can save the performance. Or load a performance. I don't know. Yeah, I think one of your guys made it.
Yeah,
This looks like a Frederick move to me.
We may or may not have something in the works
Yeah.
for a more industrialized version.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool. You recently made this. You recently made the switch to the Fishman pickups.
Yeah.
And it's the regular open
Core classic. Yeah.
pickups.
And then the other guitar that I have on this tour is also a neck through that's black, which has a 5-way and a push-pull and no toggle, which also is a guitar.
And you swap with different tunings. So one is in drop C sharp.
No, both drop C sharp. I actually have barely played this guitar on this tour because the black one I've played less in the last couple of years. So that's just another random guitar that I have at home that I like. I think I brought it with me to the States in order to get Fishman pickups done by Strandberg US. Just kind of, I'm not very precious. The black one has a big ding here, and I'm kind of hoping it gets more because it gives it character. No offense.
And you've always traveled pretty light in terms of like the touring rig.
Yeah.
You're now on
Quad Cortex.
Straight
on
into the
pedal
board?
Yeah. What do you got?
What about you guys?
Same, right?
We're exactly the same.
Yeah. Like for these shows, we're flying in between the shows, so we literally have no other clothes. So we just wearing these, maybe a change of underwear that we slip into the corners of the cases.
Battery compartment.
Yeah, I could put some socks in there. Yeah.
You got really ergonomic socks that you can kind of slip into the holes of the guitar. So yeah, it's just a question of fitting things into as smaller space as possible, so you don't need to bring extra luggage. And then we have the Quad Cortex as well, which is tiny. So you can put it in a little laptop case and put it above your head on a plane.
Yeah.
And this as well, I'll bring 2 guitars, so one hard case that I'll check in, then this one I'll just put above my head in the plane. So yeah, like very limited like stuff to take with you. Really helps on these kind of shows.
Yeah, it's not just trying to strip it back as simple as possible is the way to do it, to make it as foolproof as possible. Yeah.
Were you ever on the big like head and cab?
Yeah, I tried it once, and I sounded so bad. You could hear every mistake that I made.
What did you do when you started the band? Because that was
we had Axe-Effect. I mean, there was like literally 2 shows.
Yeah, when we started, that was like when Axe-Effect Ultra was just coming out, so we kind of switched over. Did a couple of shows with like heads
and the response you get is like really unforgiving on those kind of amps. You just can't shred. Well, I can't anyway. So every slight inconsistency in your playing is heard by everyone really loudly, and you can hear it on stage very loudly. So yeah, then we've just been using digital like soft synths ever since.
I remember like we were playing somewhere in like Camden.
Yeah, the
Purple Turtle or something like that. And I think that was the first time I used an Axe-Effects live, and that was the first time anyone had approached me at the end and said, "Oh, your tone was great." Like, and I was like, "Oh, right." So maybe we'll stick on this route then and just use modelers.
I remember that gig for different reasons, because I was borrowing your amp.
Right.
And then it was the worst gig of my life. It sounded so bad. And ever since that gig, I was like, I can't ever do that again. So I'm going to use Axe-Effects and now Neural DSP. But yeah, it's weird. There's no on-stage sound. It's probably the same for you. It's all in our ears, which is a bit strange to get used to at first, but you just get used to it over time. I think it makes you become very clinical and very precise with your playing, because you can hear everything so well.
Do either of you change sounds with like click track, like automatic, or do you stomp box it?
You guys do that.
It's all automatic for us.
Yeah. We're old school, but we were chatting to Jake about this earlier, and Simon, and it's definitely something we want to do.
Yeah.
Just never done it.
We've just never been organised enough to get it everything programmed, but we're still stepping on the pedals, all that stuff. It would be nice.
Do you have any improvised sections in your songs that can be extended?
On the last tour, we got a bit bored and we started throwing like film themes into the set, and we ended up with Titanic, The Hobbit, Terminator.
Like within a song, or you just play
like
between
introducing
songs?
the song.
Oh, right.
So that was kind of improvised, but the actual songs themselves are very pre-written, very metronomic. So there's like a grid. There's not many solos really. So it's all just locked in. You've got to play your part and just hope it all works out. Whereas your music's a bit looser, I guess, in certain parts.
You got one jam section.
Oh, okay.
That's like properly open. The rest is like there's some improvised solos, but they're still like exactly the same length.
Yeah, I mean, I'll do that. I'll take liberties like within solos. I don't really try and I kind of stick to the form of the original solo, but I'll just sometimes just play whatever lick.
Sometimes you
feel like
you like write a lick or something that's too hard, and you try and recreate it live, and it's like, oh, I can never quite nail it every night. So then you kind of like deviate a bit from it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really precious about trying to play it note for note like the record. Yeah, just keep it looser.
And you, Rich, you alternate between guitar and keyboard.
Yeah. I started off as a piano player, really. My mum's a piano teacher. Then back in the early days, I'll do a lot more piano. Way back on the first couple of albums, I was playing like whole songs on the piano. But now we start to wean that out as much as possible. So, for example, this tour, I'm only playing guitar. It makes my life a lot easier, so I'm not dancing in between. It's hard enough changing your sounds, getting ready for certain sections, and also thinking about getting the keyboard patches ready at the same time. Then you start to make mistakes because your like mental capacity is, well, mine isn't big enough.
I was just gonna ask, like, what are some challenges for doing that? It must be really.
So that's why like MIDI switching makes perfect sense, because sometimes I'll run up for a solo, get my leg on the monitor, hit it, and it's like on my clean patch or something, and the pedal's over there, like, oh shit. So then that's a bit embarrassing. So MIDI switching makes perfect sense for that reason.
Yeah. And has it always worked for you with the automatic Automatic?
When we first started, I was using an atomic amplifier, which is like a small floorboard
I remember,
thing.
yeah.
And I programmed every sound for the whole set in chronological order, so I just had to hit next, because it only had 3 buttons.
Did it have one to go back as well?
I don't think so.
I
I think going back was like a manual.
There's no undo button.
Yeah.
Calling the technician.
I remember when you had that.
Yeah.
It seemed terrifying to me.
Yeah, and then I think from then on it was Axe Effects, which was MIDI controlled, and then now the Quad Cortex.
What did you have? We played some show in Switzerland.
We did do a show together.
You had something else. What was it you had? Like a,
That was
it the
probably
atomic
that,
thing? The
I
atomic?
reckon. Yeah. It would have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a weird one because we were both on tour and we were both playing Switzerland on the same night. So we changed both of our shows and joined them together to play one show. It's good fun.
But it usually works. It's just hands off and it'll run through the set.
Yeah. Actually, the gig we played in the Netherlands a few days ago, it was a festival sort of thing, so we didn't sound check or anything and just started playing. And Jake's MIDI patches weren't working because a little cable had come unplugged in the rack. So he went to start the first song on the wrong sound and then it never changed. And he doesn't know how to use any of the gear, so he was just like... Yeah. And I was in the middle of riffing a solo, so I couldn't help him.
It's those kind of throw and go kind of situations where you kind of wish you just plugged into an amp.
Yeah, exactly.
And just played with one sound.
Like, wow, I'm really so beholden to all the technology that what I actually do is not that cool.
Usually at festivals as well, it all goes wrong because you get like 1 minute to set everything up and you don't get a sound check, you just got to go. And then you can't hear anything. Like we did download. All I could hear was this like massive, like it sounded like an orchestral snare drum. Every time Ray hit the drum, it was like exploding in my head. That's all I could hear. And we just had to play. We're like, okay, well, let's just hope we're playing the right notes. And, you know,
these things always happen when you're a festival it's not your crowd. So it's all new people thinking like,
these guys are shit.
They just look confused.
Are these guys good or what? I don't get it. Yeah.
To what extent do you guys like feel like you're taking a risk with something technology related, or it feels like a gamble?
All about music.
Or are you always like safe in that way, like comfortable getting on stage?
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you have time to set up and sound check everything, then you feel safe.
Yeah.
But those kind of festival kind of throw and go things where you're like, you don't know what you're going to hear when you hit your first chord. It's like it could go either way. Yeah.
Sometimes like also fly-in shows where you fly in like on the day of the show and your gear doesn't arrive, or your clothes, you're just wearing pajamas on stage, like you're playing like a Stratocaster or something with like 6 strings and like, how am I going to do this? That's like a night. Sometimes it happens, but it always works out in the end. But generally, I mean, having these guitars and the Neural DSP, Quad Cortex, they're like bulletproof and they're always working and very reliable, so we're lucky.
It feels like you've been a little bit on like the bleeding edge of technology development sometimes. Has that ever made you nervous or just swinging?
It seems to have been okay. And I don't do anything that's that complicated. Like, it's just guitar, some effects. It's nothing like crazy elaborate. And also I think disaster's funny. So worst case is going to be funny.
Yeah, on one hand it can be kind of embarrassing.
Yeah.
But then you just got to remember it's like it's only music. It's just like
What's the worst thing that can happen? Right?
Entertainment could come out of that situation. It's just not what you intended it to be. Yeah.
So, do you have any like secret tour hacks or advice for the Strandberg players out there who are aspiring to like go out on tour, and what's something to think about?
Oh, let's enjoy it. If you get to that point, just have fun. Don't take it, we were kind of saying earlier, don't take it too seriously. It's just music. You're doing what you love doing. Make the most of it and kind of seize the moment. Also, stay healthy if you can. Eat good food. Like do some exercise if you find the time. But you know, just enjoy it. That's what I would suggest.
Yeah, and keep it fun. I guess like you were saying before, you started putting movie themes in the set.
Yeah.
Like, I would hate to get jaded doing something that started out being so fun and like rewarding. I would hate to like get on stage and be like, oh, these songs again. Yeah, have fun.
What about like dynamics with the other bands you're touring with? You both like headline and open. What's like the biggest difference, would you say? Maybe that's unknown to people on tour.
I like to sabotage the headliner. Just go and snip something.
Just turn up and like, there's no strings on my guitar.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Yeah, I guess you like learn the dynamic quite early on in the tour, and you just respect people's space and don't get in people's faces. If they, some people are private, some people aren't private. So you kind of learn it fairly early on, I guess, and just go with the flow.
Yeah, usually, you sort of, like the first week is like gauging, like who people are and what they prefer, comfort-wise. And like, remember we opened for Symphony X, and it was kind of like, oh, we better like stay away from these guys because they're like legends and we don't want to bug them, kind of thing. After about a week, you realise they're just kind of like super cool. Michael Romeo was just like amazing. Like you could just approach him and ask him to show you a lick from a certain song, and he'd be happy to do it. And, so yeah, usually it's everyone's cool. Yeah.
Just be nice.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, it's great. That's the best thing about it is, you know, meeting this guy from Australia, right? You know, like you'd never get to meet each other unless we were traveling.
And you find so much common ground with everyone because you're doing the same thing. We all started in our bedrooms writing music, and we've ended up on a stage somewhere on the other side of the world. So there's a lot of common ground to share, and you just got to, I mean, back in the early days, I don't know about you guys, but I'll get really stressed. I want to make sure everything's perfect, and you come off stage, you're like, oh man, I messed up that solo. Oh, I ruined the gig. But no one cares. So you just got to not take it seriously and enjoy it, I think.
Well, it's so cool to have you guys here in Uppsala. I hope it's not the last time. And,
now we know where you are. You won't get rid of us. We're going to be here all the time.
Yeah, careful what you wish for.